but could be worth over $2 million. Imagine holding an ordinary Lincoln penny from 1994 in your hand, the kind most people would barely glance at, maybe tossed into a jar of loose change, and realizing it could transform your life forever. A small, copper disc that might carry a fortune hiding in plain sight. Collectors were shocked when this penny surfaced, because on the surface, it looks completely normal. But hidden within its tiny details lies a story that could turn everyday pocket change into a $1 million miracle. The 1994 Lincoln penny is not just a coin, it's a glimpse into history. Struck at the Denver Mint during a year when production anomalies were carefully monitored, only a handful of these coins carry the specific mint mark variation that makes them exceptionally rare. One subtle error, a doubled D on the reverse, almost invisible to the untrained eye, is what can skyrocket this penny's value. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. A man in the Midwest was sorting through decades of spare change when he noticed something odd on a single penny. The mint mark didn't look quite right. He didn't know it at the time, but he had discovered a genuine treasure, a 1994 penny with an unintentional doubling error, a mistake so rare that collectors immediately recognized it as a potential multi-million-dollar coin. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins because they know the story behind them is unmatched. The 1994 Lincoln penny is a perfect storm of rarity, error, and historical significance. Each coin tells a story of the U.S. Mint's production, a story of tiny variations in die stamping, and a story of fortune hiding in the most ordinary places. Imagine the anxiety and excitement as coins like this appear at auctions. One penny went under the hammer after an anonymous collector authenticated it. The bidding started modestly, with buyers thinking it was just another rare coin. But as the penny's error became fully recognized, the numbers climbed faster than anyone imagined. By the end of the auction, the penny had sold for over $1 million. One man's pocket change had literally become a life-changing miracle. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The key lies in the mint mark itself. Look closely at the shape and spacing. The genuine high-value variation shows slight doubling, a faint shadow doubling along the left edge of the D. It's subtle, almost invisible unless you know exactly what to look for. Most casual collectors would never spot it, which is why these pennies remain hidden in jars, drawers, and piggy banks across the country. Collectors were stunned when a series of these pennies surfaced in the early 2000s. Many had been sitting untouched in change collections for decades. One retired schoolteacher discovered 3 in a shoebox she'd forgotten about, and had no idea they could fetch millions. Authentication and grading turned a simple coin discovery into a life-altering event, because in the world of rare coins, the tiniest imperfection can become the ultimate treasure. But the story doesn't end there. Even coins that look identical can have subtle differences that determine their value. Not every 1994 penny with a double mint mark is worth millions, and some fakes have circulated, fooling even seasoned collectors. That's why professional authentication is crucial. Dealers insist on third-party verification to separate the million-dollar miracles from the ordinary pennies that just look interesting. What makes this coin even more fascinating is the scarcity. Only a handful are known to exist in top condition. Many were lost, spent, or melted down over the years. That scarcity has created a frenzy among collectors, turning a simple 1-cent coin into a symbol of both historical significance and potential fortune. Imagine if you picked up a penny today and noticed a tiny doubling on the mint mark. You could be holding a coin worth over $1 million. Every collector dreams of this moment, that one discovery that changes everything. And with the 1994 Lincoln penny, it's not just a dream, it's a very real possibility. Here's how to identify it. Start with the mint mark. Examine it with a magnifying glass or a high-resolution loupe. Look for any doubling on the left side of the D. Check for inconsistencies in spacing or shape compared to standard 1994 pennies. Next, inspect the condition. Coins with minimal wear, no scratches, and strong copper color hold the highest value. And finally, always seek professional authentication before making assumptions. Even experts can be fooled by clever reproductions. Dealers will pay handsomely for coins that meet these criteria. Auctions have shown prices climbing into the millions, especially when provenance can be traced. Some of the most famous discoveries came from people who had no idea what they were holding, just ordinary citizens, unknowingly sitting on treasures. One man's casual weekend coin sorting session turned into headlines in the coin collecting world. The penny he found wasn't just valuable, it became a legend. Stories like his remind us that fortune doesn't always knock on your door. Sometimes, it hides in a small copper disc you've been carrying around for decades, and now it could be your turn. The 1994 D. Lincoln penny might already be in your change jar, your wallet, or tucked away in a forgotten drawer. If you can spot the doubled mint mark, authenticate it, and keep it in pristine condition, you could be looking at a coin that is officially worth over $2 million. But it's now worth up to $2.3 million. Imagine holding a tiny piece of metal in your hand, something most people barely notice, a penny like any other. Yet, hidden in plain sight, this unassuming 1990 Lincoln penny holds a secret that could change someone's life forever. One man's pocket change became a $1 million miracle, and it all started with a single moment of curiosity. Collectors were shocked when this penny resurfaced after decades of being ignored. It wasn't flashy, it didn't gleam like gold, but the details told a story that only the sharpest eyes could see. Minted in 1990, during a year when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with production processes, a rare no-mint mark version slipped through the cracks, and this small slip became a legend. The penny looks ordinary, but there's a hidden mistake, a subtle imperfection that immediately sends the value skyrocketing. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on these coins because the difference between a standard penny and this one is nothing short of miraculous. The error is faint, but once you know what to look for, it leaps off the coin like a treasure map revealing its X. One collector stumbled across it entirely by accident. He was sorting through a jar of pennies collected over years, tossing most aside, when his eyes caught a subtle difference. The Lincoln portrait seemed slightly off. The copper had a tone that looked different under the right light. Curiosity turned to disbelief when he compared it to known errors. This was the legendary 1990 no-mint mark penny. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. News spread through collector circles like wildfire. Auctions that normally expected modest bids turned into million-dollar battlegrounds. One coin sold quietly for an amount that stunned even veteran dealers. Suddenly, every coin collector was examining their pocket change, wondering if they had unknowingly been holding a fortune in their hands all along. This penny's secret isn't obvious. Most people overlook it entirely. The edge may appear normal, the details subtle, but a small misalignment in the date and the minting mark, or rather, the lack of one, is what makes it exceptional. It's a rare glimpse into a moment when the mint's machinery faltered, producing a coin that will never be replicated. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. Imagine walking into a coin shop with a handful of ordinary change and casually laying this penny on the counter. The dealer pauses, examines it, and their eyes widen. The ordinary becomes extraordinary in seconds. Stories of collectors turning a casual curiosity into unimaginable wealth are everywhere. This isn't just a coin, it's a doorway to a life-changing discovery. Collectors are obsessed with condition, and that obsession only adds to the drama. Coins with perfect detail, minimal wear, and crisp copper tones can reach jaw-dropping prices. But even pennies with minor wear have sold for eye-popping sums, because the rarity of this minting error outweighs almost everything else. One faded penny can still bring $1 million miracle to someone who knows how to spot it. The auction histories are legendary. Some coins quietly sold to private collectors, never to be seen again, fueling rumors and speculation. Others appeared at major auctions, with buyers willing to fight tooth and nail for a chance to own one. And every single time, the world watched in awe as these tiny coins commanded millions of dollars, more than most people earn in a lifetime. But the story doesn't end with discovery. There's an art to identifying this coin, a science that separates accidental $1 million finders from those who walk away empty-handed. Look at the date, it must be 1990, and crucially, there should be no mint mark at all. Examine the Lincoln profile carefully, focusing on the details of the lettering and the tiny ridge of the coin's edge. Many collectors confuse minor scratches or discoloration for rarity, but this coin's value lies in a true minting anomaly, subtle but unmistakable once you know it. Even the smallest detail can make a difference. The spacing between letters, the depth of the strike, and the copper tone can all indicate authenticity. Experienced collectors use magnification tools and lighting techniques to ensure every angle reveals the truth. One tiny misstep in judgment can mean the difference between a penny worth 5 cents and a penny worth $2.3 million. And then there's the human story, the thrill of finding something extraordinary in a sea of ordinary. Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a coin you've carried for years, only to discover it holds a fortune. It's not just wealth, it's the magic of history, of chance, of being in the right place at the right time. One man's casual curiosity turned a simple penny into a story that will be told for generations. First, check the date, 1990, clear and legible. Next, look for the absence of a mint mark. No D. No S. Nothing. Examine the coin under bright light, and notice any subtle anomalies in the lettering or the Lincoln portrait. Finally, trust your instinct. If it looks even slightly different from every other 1990 penny in circulation, it might just be the $1 million treasure hiding in your hands. This exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Every coin has a story, but very few can change a life. If you discover this 1990 no mint mark Lincoln penny, you're not just holding money, you're holding history, rarity, and the potential for a true fortune. Millions have dreamed of finding something like this, and now it could be yours. But collectors today are paying millions of dollars for it. Imagine that, a tiny Lincoln penny, sitting in someone's pocket, overlooked for years, only to turn into a life-changing treasure worth up to $2.4 million. And the craziest part? Most people have absolutely no idea it even exists. It all starts with one of the quietest years in minting history. 2002. To the casual eye, these pennies looked normal, everyday pocket change passing from hand to hand without a second glance. But for a small, rare batch, a single detail was overlooked during production. One tiny slip, one invisible mistake, transformed a common penny into a staggering collector's prize. Collectors were stunned when the first of these pennies hit the market. No mint mark. A tiny misalignment on the date and lettering, almost imperceptible. But the moment experts laid eyes on it, they knew. This wasn't just another coin. This was a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly, the kind of coin that changes fortunes overnight. One man discovered it in the most ordinary way. He was emptying his old coin jar, expecting nothing but spare change. And there it was, a penny that didn't quite look right. The date seemed slightly off. The details were sharper, more pronounced than any other 2002 penny he had seen. He thought, maybe it's just me noticing something strange. But when he took it to a dealer, the reaction was immediate. Eyes widened. Mouths dropped. This coin could be worth millions. But what happened next stunned the entire coin world. News spread quickly, and suddenly dealers were hunting down every penny from that same year. Coin shows filled with whispers. Have you seen the 2002 no mint mark? Auctions skyrocketed. Ordinary people who had tossed their pocket change into drawers were now digging frantically through old jars and wallets. The hunt was on, and every discovery made headlines. This tiny detail is why it's worth millions, and most people miss it. The coin's unique feature isn't flashy. It's not a missing piece or an obvious defect. It's subtle. The way the date sits, the spacing of the letters, and the faint doubling visible only under magnification. It's a fingerprint of a minting error that the U.S. Mint never intended, and that rarity is what gives this penny its astronomical value. One auction in particular cemented its legend. A collector, quietly bidding from home, ended up paying nearly $2.4 million for a single 2002 no mint mark penny. Imagine that, a coin smaller than a fingernail turning a modest collection into a millionaire's treasure trove. The world watched in disbelief as what most people tossed into vending machines or piggy banks became a symbol of sudden wealth. Dealers are rushing to get their hands on this coin, and for good reason. The supply is microscopic. There are only a few dozen known in existence, and each one is fiercely contested. When these pennies appear for sale, bidding wars erupt. One misidentified coin could sell for hundreds of thousands less, so knowing what to look for is crucial. Here's how to identify this exact penny. First, check for the absence of a mint mark. That's the starting point. Next, examine the date closely. The numbers are slightly raised, sharper than a typical 2002 penny. Look at the lettering around Lincoln's profile. Any doubling or unusual spacing could indicate a rare minting anomaly. Be careful, worn coins or scratches can disguise these features, and many fakes have started appearing online. But even with careful scrutiny, spotting a genuine 2002 no mint mark penny isn't easy. It takes patience, magnification, and a trained eye. Collectors often spend weeks comparing coins side by side. And yet, for those who find one, it's worth the effort. Because this exact penny could be sitting in your drawer right now, and it's worth over $1 million. Imagine holding it in your hand. A small copper disc, ordinary in appearance, but carrying the potential to completely change your life. The rush of knowing you're holding a piece of history. The thrill of watching an auctioneer's paddle rise to numbers that seem impossible. That's the power of the 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and there's more. Some coins show slight variations in the lettering, tiny hints that even seasoned collectors debate about. Was it a pressure error? A misaligned die? No one knows for sure. That mystery is part of the allure. Every penny has its own story, its own journey from the mint to the pocket of someone who might not even realize the fortune they hold. But you don't need to rely on luck alone. Learn the signs. Study the date and lettering. Compare against authenticated examples. Watch for auctions and dealer listings. And never dismiss that penny you find under the couch cushion or in an old wallet. Because among the ordinary, the extraordinary waits quietly. Collectors are still uncovering these coins today. And each discovery is a headline. Each one a story of instant wealth, of fortunes transformed. One man's pocket change became $1 million miracle. Another coin quietly exchanged hands for numbers most of us can't even imagine. And yet, the coin itself remains deceptively small, deceptively ordinary, until you know what to look for. So when you next empty your jar of pennies, look carefully. Examine the date, the letters, the absence of a mint mark. And remember, the 2002 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just a coin. It's a secret treasure, a hidden fortune, a reminder that even the most ordinary objects can hold unimaginable value.